Good afternoon, and welcome back to Three of Swords Gaming. We're going to continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough, and we are in Season 4 of the Living World, second chapter, and we finished with our last episode, knocking out the shields protecting this facility right here, part of the whole, Rada Primus complex. So, and taking out the satellite communications dish as well. Kind of a Star Wars Rogue One kind of thing. Like, that's what it looks a lot like, right? Isn't that what they do? Take out like a satellite dish and some shields and stuff. Like, I feel like it's the exact same thing. So now we're ready to go save Blish and Gorrik, right? Because they're supposed to have knowledge that will help us take the fight to Joko.
Are so tied up with each other, they don't see us coming. We're cutting right through them.
Nice work. Keep after them. I'll check in as I get the chance.
Hey, Commander?
Timey, you got your ride, I see.
Yeah, Captain Sly's the best.
Is she?
Listen, I know the priority is shutting down Joko's gate hub. But please don't forget about Gorrik and Blish, okay? They need help, but they also know this place. So maybe they can help us too.
I'll do my best. Brings up a good point, though. We know Joko's been causing trouble inside, but we don't really know where things stand. Any way to find out?
The Inquest's always big on keeping records. Probably a good idea to check what's been logged on their consoles.
Okay, will do, Timey. Is Captain Sly the best? Like, how did she go from being a bad guy to a good guy without any story to support that?
Haven't been here yet.
Not sure. Airship's in trouble. I really like that we do actually, like, approach the complex. That's pretty cool. Oh, I guess it is over the Sandswept Isles. For some reason, I thought this instance took place kind of displaced from... Oh, we have guests. Displaced from where it is on the map, but apparently not. Apparently it's appropriate where it falls on the map. Alright, here, let's help our buddies a little bit, but we do need to disembark the ship here. Is that the correct term? I feel like it is. And begin to infiltrate the complex here.
Time to do some real damage.
Check the labs for security consoles.
You want to come down here and join the rest of us, Bram? Thanks. Appreciate it, buddy.
Gonna make it any easier to get inside.
Every lab I've seen has emergency passcodes that'll get you in, even during a lockdown. See if you can find them.
No,
Okay.
sir,
No, I can't fight that.
buildings. The ones that aren't already smashed are acting weird.
That's not creepy at all.
It is creepy, and it's a nice touch. I quite like this instance. It is long. This is a long instance. We're gonna have a lot going on. It's probably gonna take us a hot minute to work through all this, but it is a good instance. Quite likable, both from a gameplay perspective and from a storytelling perspective. There are, of course, some goofy things that I don't like, but that, shouldn't be a huge surprise. There are a lot of things about the story that I don't like. I've often contrasted the world building with the story and felt like one is significantly better than the other, and I am very comfortable standing by that. So what we're looking for right now is the way into the main complex, right? Not a big deal. The reason that I come through here is to also take note of all these documents, right? So there is an achievement. Let's see. Find all the Inquest documents. So rifling through all these paper stacks and stuff can lead to that achievement. We're not going to try and complete that right now. I don't have a ton of interest in it, but I did want to bring attention to it so that it wasn't completely lost as we looked at navigating this instance. Alright, let's get down to the next level. Because as I recall, that's where we're actually going to need to be if we want to find our way into the complex. There we go. Door controls. Sure, why not? Dragon Fusion Lab. Let's do it. Ah, nice. I like it. Was this like an ogre that's been death branded? So Mortarmoth, or not Mortarmoth, Zaitan and Krakatorik. This should, you know, look familiar to us because this is the kind of thing that we were seeing. You know, Inquest experiments on using dragon energies go back to the core game with the Crucible of Eternity dungeon. So none of this is like new to this instance in terms of the Inquest activities that we see here. All right, we got two options here. Power surge detected. Authorizations compromised. Yes, yes, yes. Please notify the IT department. With two of these options, one of them is really to like advance the story, that being play security holograms. The other one is to set us up for success later in the story. Let's get the stealth control console authorizations. Those make them in handy later, right? And we'll see that they do. So we grab that. Good to know. We got the password for using stealth now. Let's see what the holograms have going on.
Gorrik's odd, but he's not incompetent. Probably doing it on purpose to stop Joko's awakened from going through.
Not just worried about his own skin then. Maybe this is one Inquester we can work with.
The console didn't say anything about Blish. Wonder where he is. Hope he's okay.
All right. So I got good news. I'll go ahead and discuss this now, even though we got a whole lot of story ahead of us. Blish and Gorrik are characters that are going to be with us for a while. And that's a relative to Guild Wars 2 storytelling. Like I said, that's a fairly rewarding thing. They are, by no stretch of the imagination, the worst characters that ArenaNet has come up with. I quite like them, in fact.
Time to do some real damage. They'll have to hit much harder.
Alright, next door. Holographic dynamics. Is it safe to assume that, yes, look at this. So we got two giant holograms here who are fighting like Awakened. These holograms, again, should look familiar because this goes all the way back to the core story as well. We remember when we were playing through the core story, we had Zot and Ellie, and Ellie had one of these that fought on our side. Something like this hologram warrior right here.
Inquest are awakened.
I smell fresh blood.
You sick? Feel the fury.
Okay, now, both the Awakened and the holograms here are adversaries to us, so you know, there doesn't need to be any like discretion exercised in terms of who we attack and how we go about this. Ultimately, we're going to need to eliminate both. Thanks, Bram. Appreciate it. Oh, what are these guys still doing? Like they see everything that's taking place and they're just going to stand at their consoles. Look at that one, just got shot by Bram, not reacting at all. They must really like their work. I applaud that. Good job, scientists. All right, another security console, same type of thing. So this is going to give us, just like we earlier got, in fact, I think this is the exact same. Yeah, that is the exact same message. And it's going to play out similarly. We're going to get more in the story from watching the holograms, but we're also going to get another capability. So earlier we got the stealth capability. Now we're going to get the ability to access some consoles later on in the story. So now we have that. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's Gorrik again.
Gorrik again. Barricading a door. Probably digging in somewhere deep inside the facility. Rox, we're making headway. You still cutting through?
Absolutely, Commander. The Olmecon are even better fighters than I thought they'd be.
And in the third instance of this chapter, third? I believe it's third. Of the like three instances that are chained together at the beginning, we get an opportunity to see the Olmecon fight, and I do like that they are like this peaceful tribe who has this incredible combat capability. Like that contrast, I think is always fun. Is it like cliche? Yeah, sure it is. But I think it's fun as well. So
Time to do some real damage.
happy to see the Olmecon succeeding here. The Omicron are something they're going to stick around through like a duration of season 4 off and on, and I like that. I still think there was room for some more exploration of kind of what they are, and we're not going to get that, unfortunately. Alright. What do we got going on here? Another security console, and Inquest running around like crazy. Some of them are going through the gates here trying to escape. Awaken, giving them a hard time. Man, it's rough. It's hard to be Inquest these days. Alright, we got almost all of them. Getting close. Look at these little buggers. They're just running around, like, not trying to defend themselves. Commander just massacres all of them. Sad. Sad. Apparently there's no rules of engagement in Guild Wars 2. Alright. Same message. We get a third. So remember, we got stealth, we got turrets, now we got golem control. All three of these things are going to come in handy. And then security hologram.
Yes. Is someone there? Gorrik?
Hello? This.
Gorrik, it's me.
That's Tiny. And I'm a friend. We're here to help.
Tiny. Ow.
Is that Blish? Are you okay? I've been so worried.
We're trapped at the bottom level lab.
We'll come get you. But we also need to shut down the gates to stop Joko's army.
The gate hub's on the way, but the bigger danger is Joko gets his hands on it.
Transmission failed.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. First things first. We shut down that gate hub. Rocks. Tell the Omicron to dig in. This may take a while.
Ooh, rough for the Omicron, right? Like, they're engaged in this brutal fight, which apparently they were doing well. But just saying, engaged in this brutal fight, now they're told, like, need you to stick it out for a while. Of course, there are many, you know, throughout the annals of human warfare, there are many comparable situations where units that are struggling logistically or in terms of personnel are told, hey, stick it out for a while. So we can see kind of what the Omicron are up against, but they're providing us cover, so to speak. Like, they're taking care of other stuff so that we have this ability to navigate this facility and hopefully A, stop Joko's incursions, and B, rescue Blish and Gorrik. So we got to get to the bottom level to do that. Keep in mind, like, this whole thing, right? So this Rada Primus complex here is, well, it's shaped like a big D&D die, right? So we were just now at like the widest level, like that second level was like the widest one. And as we go down deeper, it's going to get more and more narrow because we're getting towards the bottom of that die. Much like the top layer was much smaller than that, you know, the layer that we ultimately ended up visiting the labs in. It's a cool design for like an engagement. It's a cool design for a facility.
That is a lot of awakening.
Quite like it.
Charging right in might not be the best plan.
The Inquis probably have protective measures all over. If you took any of those security passwords, maybe they help? The zinc gate must be programmable. That's how Joko's sending his forces all over Tyria.
And the smaller gates are how they're getting in here.
Don't bother trying to hack the gate controllers. Mash them. I'll shut it down.
I suppose that's true. So now our passwords that we obtained are going to be helpful for us. We can activate the stealth. And then we can run right past these guys.
Try the turret controls.
Access the turret controls. And now the turrets are going to start jacking these guys up. Now we are at some point, I believe, going to run out of stealth. Or we'll get pulled into combat by like an AoE effect. And lose it. So we might as well dive in. The sheer numbers of Awaken here are not quite as daunting as Bram makes them out to be. While we're at it, we can shut down the gates. All good things. Why is that guy invulnerable? That's not fair. I'm disappointed. Alright, let's turn our attention to the gates. We got the turrets helping us out after all, so. Alright, so these are the inbound gates. Now the guys going through the main gate here can't
Okay.
get
inbound
here
gates
to
are
go
shut
through in
down.
the first place.
That should stop the invasion for now.
Until an awakened Asura comes along and fixes the controls. Maybe Gorrik and Blish can think of a permanent fix.
In the meantime, Rox, we took out the controls for inbound awakened, which may mean more of them stuck on your end.
Understood. Oh, Makan, their escape gates unlocked. Get ready for a reverse stampede.
Is that what we're calling it? A stampede? Not very tactical of you, Rox.
They'll have to hit much harder.
Get back here. Ow! I made a mistake. Should have let that guy go. Alright, let's activate the golems. Golems are going to help us out. You see all these golems here? They're going to take care of this guy for us. Which is exactly what we needed. I just wanted to catch that one little inquest, and I botched this up. Graham still apparently wants part of the action here. And why not? We did too. But not when he's doing that. Man, that move is brutal. Like, it's some kind of counter or whatever it is. It'll just wreck you. Terrible day if you attack when that thing's happening. Alright. Moving on. Moving on. Oh, good. More bombers. Yay. And by yay, I mean not yay. But it's alright.
They'll have to hit much harder.
Oh, there's one more.
All those turrets. The Inquest definitely doesn't want anyone getting in there.
All these bodies. Joko's goons have been trying pretty hard.
Must be something good inside.
Yeah, there must be. Not our problem right now. Alright. We got a chance to stealth again. Let's take it. May come in handy. Yeah, we got that cannon here. Again, manageable, but... Oh, 2 cannons. So that would be... a bit annoying. Maybe golem bombs will help us out.
It's gotta be them.
Well, that worked out nicely. I approve. I approve wholeheartedly.
Feel the fury. Wither.
Wonder who they're asking forgiveness from when they say that. Joko? Humanity? Certainly not both. What's this guy doing? Is this the same guy we were chasing earlier? Did he make it all the way back here? It was an Inquest bomber. I think it's that guy. Alright. Intercom. Let's see if we can get a hold of Gork.
Blish? Gorrik?
Oh, thank the alchemy. I wasn't sure how long we could keep those fiends out.
Foreign substance detected.
Oh.
Internal systems
Time to do some
compromised.
real damage.
Apparently the security systems have turned against us. Oh no.
All clear.
Unlocking the door now.
Thank you, Gork. Here we go, all the way to the bottom level. So you'll see that things get like tighter and tighter as we get down to the bottom of this weird die-shaped thing. Bugs.
No, my specimens! Don't hurt them!
Sorry.
See, it's them. I told you it wasn't a trick.
So as you recall, Gorrik is an entomologist, the study of insects. Thus, his specimens. Wait, is there a spider? Ah, there is a spider. Wasp, mosquito, firefly.
Gorrik? Where's your brother?
Here. Hello. I am Blish.
Is there a problem?
Oh, Gork, you're welcome. Blish, why does your voice sound weird?
1 second, Tiny. She was so excited about seeing Blish again. I'd hate for her to have to find out about this golem situation over a comm.
Agreed. She should see for herself.
If you're finished whispering,
Okay, Gorrik, what's the big threat?
it's urgent. Something we uncovered in Baranor.
Alert! Containment vault breach in progress. Alert!
No! It's Joko! He'll get the samples!
Explain. Now.
The vault contains samples of the ancient scarab plague, the deadliest pestilence in history. It decimated Alona. Imagine Joko unleashing it through Tyria. Nothing would survive.
Activating radical decontamination protocol level 2. Self-destruct initiated.
What is it with Inquest's self-destructing labs?
It's the automated failsafe. We have to get to the vault. Hurry!
Alright, let's go. So, on a first playthrough, if you're not...
What happened?
The Inquest recovered the scarab plague in Baranor. We've been experimenting with it and...
Wait, those horrible plague tests on the Olmecon? That was you?
No! I study insects, the scarabs themselves. I was against the testing, although the results have been fascinating. Also, it's technically not a plague. It's a pestilence. That's something of a misnomer among...
Gork! What about the self-destruct?
Once the decontamination protocol starts, it can't be turned off.
Damn it.
Rox, Rada Primus is going to self-destruct. Get the Omicron as far back as you can.
Well, I guess we should keep moving. So like I was saying, on a first playthrough, this is in fact like a thing. So to discover, oh, Blish is a golem. Blish is not Asura, which is what he should be because he's Gorik's brother, right? Gorik's an Asura, and he went to college with Taimi, presumably at an Asura university or whatever. We'll get the backstory here. We will get the explanation on what's going on here. It becomes normal because by the time as you advance through the story, then you become accustomed to Blish the golem. But at this point in time, it should be shocking. We should be like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? It's worth noting that there is precedent within the Guild Wars 2 story of an Asura inserting their consciousness into a golem. It happens in an Asura personal story. I want to say the racial personal story, like the first 20 levels. I can't remember if it's a 10 level option or a 20 level option, but there is a story where you encounter something similar.
Too late. They're gone.
Try to gate hub.
Alright, so presumably this is where the scarab plague was, or not a plague, a pestilence. Thank you, Gorrik. The samples were located, right? Like in here, and these arms held some kind of vial or whatever it was they were stored in. And so now they're gone, right? The concern being that Joko has got his hands on a version of the plague that is, or the pestilence, the scarabs, that is a threat to all of Tyria. And remember, he's invading Tyria in the first place, so potentially bad things. Where am I going here? There we go. This is the way I wanted to go. Ah, more mummies. As there should be. So in my last episode, I said that really, honestly, this instance could probably be 2 instances. And I kind of stand by that. I think you could have an end here. You'd have to tweak it a little bit to where you actually, successfully reach a certain point in the facility where there's, a sense of closure or accomplishment. And then start this next portion. it wouldn't have hurt my feelings if they had broken it up that way, just because as it is, we still have this whole thing to do, and it's going to result in a very long instance. From here, we can see Palawa Joko, Commander Lanai. Are there some cronies around here? I thought there were some cronies. Maybe not.
Joko, you twisted. Stop and face me.
Before unleashing the Scarab Plague on your beloved Tyrion, don't you wish? The old me would have drawn this out long enough for you to hear the death screams of Tyrion victims. The new me, on the other hand, better to be sure. Commander Lanai,
Yes, Great One.
kill them.
As you command.
No!
A small parting gift.
Alright, so he just resurrected all these Inquest. Or awakened them, or whatever I guess it's awakened, right? That's what Joko does, he awakens. To kind of add to this whole experience here with Lanai. So... Uh-oh. Do I want to go ranged with Lanai? I probably do, to be honest. Am I on axe? I didn't check if I'm on axes or bow. I think I'm on a bow. Nope, axes. Alright, so now we're dealing with Lanai. So I like that Joko doesn't give us like the evil villain monologue, like explaining his motivations and what's next in his plan and how stupid we are not to see it coming, and then we get I get it, like it's kind of a fun trope and it's an effective means of delivering like exposition. But it's also silly, and we see it everywhere from James Bond to Murder, She Wrote, or what, just like it's a common thing. And I like a villain who like jokes that he could do it, and then chooses not to, and it's just like kill him. That's what I want. That's what I want out of Joko. Yes, there are times in the story when he's quite silly, but when they want to make him insidious, they can, and I like that. All right, so why am I running away from the gate? I know I'm going to go through the gate. Running away from the gate buys you time on your cooldowns. So this is going to phase several times. We're going to get sucked into a gate that spits us out in random places several times. By dragging that out, if you need to bring things off cooldown, whether it's an elite skill or a heal skill or something, then you can do that, and it becomes like pretty helpful. Or if you're bad like I am, maybe if you're like super skilled, then you don't need it in the first place. But I find it helpful.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we're reading you on our instruments. It appears Joko damaged the gate.
Can you fix it?
I will try. But we won't know if it's working until the commander and Ram go through it. Either way, I'll need a way to cut through the interference. I believe I can use the nice energy signature to direct the portal to your location.
No master to control them.
Ah. Alright, so we destroy these, like, dark stars or whatever they call. What are they called? Something stupid, like dying star. And then throw the fireball that it leaves us at the shade. And that's kind of a trigger to help us out with what comes next. They can also be used to attack Lanai at times, although last time I tried it, it didn't actually work. She was invulnerable at that particular moment in time. You do want to take them down regardless, because they can be problematic if you don't. So taking down those dying stars is advised. Alright, we're going to get sucked through this next portal. I like the Queensdale thing, and it's going to take us to a couple more locations. Yeah, so this is where the like Destroyer meta event pops up.
Hurry, the countdown!
I like it, as far as like, oh, look, we go to different environments and there's challenges associated with that. That's all good. I do, personally, I could use with like one less phase, honestly. It does get like a little tiresome by the end. Maybe I just feel that way because the last phase, the one after this one, I think it's the last one. Or you know, the next one after this, regardless whether it's the last one or not, is kind of a pain in the ass. Oh, there's the shade. It's right in front of me. Ah. See how those dying stars are shooting like these fireballs at me, and they actually do a considerable amount of damage. That's not good for us. So that kind of reinforces what I was saying. Regardless of your situation with like the shade, taking the dying stars down is beneficial. Something that you want to do. Alright, pretty soon. There it is. Alright, this is a great example of where I'm at half health. My heal is still coming off cooldown anyway. So if I can protract this as long as possible, that's kind of exactly what I was talking about. Now I got the heal. Now I'm trying to burn as much of this cooldown as I can before we get sucked through this portal here. I don't know that I'm going to get it all the way down, but if I can get it down to like 5 or 6 seconds, then I'm going to be pretty happy with that. Yeah, I'm starting to get pulled in now. There we go, 5 or 6 seconds. Good enough. I can dig it. Through the next portal. Alright, this is the one that's a little bit rough. And I would be okay with, like, you know, it having ended, like, some success coming, you know, prior to this. This is where I'm talking about maybe one phase too much. I mean, it's fun. It's a cool little touch that, you know, this is taking place right in front of the Claude Jormag and whatnot. But this is the roughest of the phases by far. You got to kind of be on your toes. I'm not the best Guild Wars 2 player in the world, so there is a degree of challenge in this for me. Oh, I allowed myself to get hit by that attack. And did it interrupt my... It did. It interrupted the thing I threw at the shade. That's unfortunate. Not surprising, but unfortunate. Let's try it again. It does kind of put me behind the 8 ball in terms of my health and where I'm at in the grand scheme of things here, but that's okay. Another one? Shenanigans, Lanai. Shenanigans. Let's get these down. Oh, I am like dead. Yep, there we go. See if I can use this before he gets me back up. Yeah, nice. That was good. Oh, more of them. Good. Good for us. Go team.
I could outrun a centaur.
I thought that was a shade. It's not, actually. My bad. Alright. Are we, Oh, now there's a shade up. Help me up, Pep.
Okay, you two. Tell me there's good news.
There's good news.
Commander, we're losing your signal. Working on it, but the self-destruct protocol...
Alright, at this point we might as well go through it. See Commander Lanai's health, like, you know, what's going to happen next is a foregone conclusion. So we can go through that portal.
What the... Where the frozen hell are we?
No idea. Gorrik? Timey? Do you read? Can anybody hear me?
You think the countdown Ended?
Doesn't look good.
We're dead, Bram. What do you need the bow for? Oh, Commander Lanai. Give you peace. Jeez, Bram. Brutal.
Worst places for your time to run out, I guess. Kind of beautiful.
It is.
Plus, not likely Joko can awaken Lanai here. So I guess she got her wish.
Bram. The letter. The one you sent Timey.
She told you.
She did. I'm glad she did.
So, I guess we should talk about that.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Gorrik.
Oh, thank the gods.
I know, right? We were about to be subjected to a horribly awkward conversation.
Make no sense.
And they're probably right.
Can you get us out of here or not?
Opening a gate now. I suggest you hurry. Auto-destruct is imminent.
Okay. So before we go through that, I think it actually pulls us through here in a second anyway. This area right here is like a borrowed asset from like a Halloween event. I think it's like really cool. And not that different from like Mistlock Sanctuary or something like that either, right? I would love to see more stuff like that. Later on, we are going to get some more that's kind of reminiscent of that. A couple more chapters.
It's gonna blow!
It's a cool touch. I like it. I dig it.
Subtle. I like your style.
Shut up, Saida.
Commander, the Omicron force is clear. The last of the Awakened and Inquest are breaking and running. We did it!
Well done!
Thanks,
Great work,
Boudica.
Rox. Give our congratulations to the elders.
You know, your little friend has been worried. Went inside to bite her nails in private, she said.
There's no more avoiding this.
Yeah. Blish. Gorrik. Come with me?
Of course.
Alright, so just to kind of close this up. So, yeah, I would have preferred, like, some mechanism in the story that brought Saida from, like, ruthless cutthroat pirate to part of Team Commander. We don't get that. She's now part of Team Commander. So if there's any confusion on your part, which there generally isn't, Guild Wars 2 players just generally just, like, swallow this stuff. But Saida, Team Commander. It's a full thing now. This is basically our airship now. It's Saida's, but it's kind of ours. Like, we will get more usage out of it before all said and done.
Could you give us a few minutes?
Of course, Outlander. Take your time.
GTFO, Omicron. Aw, little Timey.
Commander? Gorrik? And... Blish?
Hello, Timey.
I'm sorry, Timey. I wish there was an easier way to tell you.
Oh my... You're...
Here we go again. What'll it be? Disgust? Horror? Don't keep us in suspense.
amazing. Beautiful.
That is unexpected. And likely inaccurate. Life as a machine is incomprehensible to living beings.
But you're safe. From life's... frailties.
Safe? We just lost our funding. Our lab? Our data?
Also inaccurate. I was able to save substantial data to my local storage.
My Scarab archives?
Yes. Also the research on Kraukatorek.
Then it's settled. You're both working with me now.
Well, we'll have to discuss authorship hierarchy for any published research. And of course we'll stipulate that you don't have supervisory authority, but I suppose that's agreeable.
Very agreeable.
Good. Because we might have stopped Joko's invasion today. But we know he has plans for the Scarab Plague. Safe to assume they're horrific.
It is
We
safe,
expect
yes.
to figure out what he's up to and stop him. We're gonna need all the help we can get.
We've got a lot of data to process. So let's get going.
I like this. For generally, I'm very hard on ArenaNet for their story, for both the narrative as a the storyline in general, and then also the dialogue. I think sometimes the dialogue is quite atrocious. I often find it lacking. In these last couple minutes, I do not find it lacking. I think Timey's everything from when they come up here as Blish comes up these stairs right here, and like all that up till now, that whole interaction here, I think is great. I think they did a good job, and I like what it brings to the story. So kudos to the folks who came up with that. There was so it was around this time, around the time of this release, and in fact I think it was actually the next chapter, which we'll dive into here in a few minutes. It was around that time that there was like this huge kerfuffle between a ArenaNet sponsored creator and someone who they actually have a character in the game named for, and one of the developers, and the developer got like snippy or disrespectful with that creator when that creator asked like what appeared to be a relatively benign question, or just had like a criticism that wasn't like completely over the top. It was an appropriate criticism. Like it wasn't bananas. Like there was no question, at least in my opinion, and there were many people that had strong opinions on the matter. But I don't think anything that content creator did really warranted the response that followed. But that led to a huge uproar, and ultimately the developer followed that with some more nonsense. Like the bad decisions were made on the part of that developer, and the community was quite bent out of shape around it, and that developer got fired. Appropriate response, in my opinion, on the ArenaNet's part. Like I felt like that was the right answer, and the developer really made it easy for ArenaNet with a combination of just like nonsense. I'm not going to go into it. Nonsense. So there are those who felt like the story was trending up, and compared to season 3 and Path of Fire, the story is, relatively speaking, trending up. And then there were folks who felt like, oh, that is, that's it, because that, as I recall, that developer was like part of the narrative team, or maybe even led the narrative team. I don't recall. And so there were definitely players who felt like that was like some kind of catastrophe. Maybe it was warranted, but it was bad for the game, or whatever. I never saw like a negative impact from that, but it was around this time. So this story would be directly related to that. The next chapter story would be directly related to that, because they were some of the last work of the team prior to that significant incident. Timey, what are your thoughts on Blish, Gorrik, the Scarab Plague, etc.?
How are you doing, Timey? I can't imagine how you must feel right now.
It's complicated. Well, everyone keeps checking on me, and I appreciate it. But I'm fine. Mostly it's fine. I'm excited to work with Blish and Gorrik. I think we can make some real progress. On everything.
So this is kind of, Blish and Gorrik being here is a huge win for Timey, right? Something that I think if we really like dive into the story and invest in it and say, okay, I'm treating all these characters like real beings, real people, so to speak, then Timey needed this. She's got no one. Who is the closest person that Timey relates to? Excluding the commander, because the commander's ridiculous. Is it Bram? So this is a welcome thing for Timey. It's good for Timey. And this continues to have ramifications all the way up through End of Dragons to, to today, in June of 2023. Like this moment still remains relevant. Gorrik, what are your thoughts?
Gotta be tough to lose your lab like that. Glad you'll be working with Timey for a while, though. With Joko stealing the plague, we need all the brain power we can get. Wish I knew how he plans to unleash it.
Yes. And yes, I think that's fairly obvious. Fortunately for you, I'm the foremost expert on scarabs. Rest assured, you've got expertise and a fair dose of brilliance on your side.
Alright, well that's good. And humility, too. Such a humble guy. Blish.
I was pretty relieved by Timey's reaction.
As was I. To be welcomed. To be really seen. Especially by someone so brilliant. It is appreciated. I did not realize how much I missed her mind.
I think that's great dialogue. I do. You can make the arguments relatively simple, but you have to keep it simple in a video game, right? And that's where a lot of the weakness in their dialogue and narrative comes from is you don't have the space and the time and the capacity to tell a nuanced story, and that's good. That's better than they almost ever do. I like it a lot. Who's this? Is this Saida up here? Saida, thought you were a bad guy. I guess you're not. Are you on Team Commander?
Well, Captain, looks like I owe you again. Hope this wasn't more than you bargained for.
Are you kidding? First captain to breach Rada Primus, with Storm calling Char and a dragon to boot? Every time we cross paths, my reputation just gets better and better. You call me anytime you want, Commander.
All right. Still kind of silly, but at least we get some motivations there to kind of help us piece that together, right? All right. I'll buy it for $1. Bram is looking contemplatively. Is that a word? He appears to be contemplating something as he stares off into the ether here, away from Rada Primus, which should be what, towards the north then? Are we? No, he's staring to the south. What's to the south? I thought we were here. Oh, yeah, it appears we weren't because we're in an instance right now. Yeah, so he's basically staring towards the Astrolarium. Bram, what's up?
This was a tough one, Bram. You had my back. I appreciate it.
Well, you had mine. Only fair. Barely heard from Rock since we left the village. And when we were there, it was Olmacon this, Olmacon that.
All right, so see, a minute ago with like Blish and Timey, they did well, and then we get Saida, and now we get Bram. This is what this is supposed to be, is Bram and the Commander kind of making up and making nice, because remember they were still like kind of at odds, and then they're about to have that awkward conversation, which is really like all this dialogue like doesn't kind of work the way it's intended to work. Like when Bram and the Commander were talking in that like kind of mysterious mist location, where they're on that little island up in kind of what looks like space. That's supposed to be about them and the distance between them and kind of the schism that took place. But it ends up feeling like one of them's about to admit to like cheating. I really saw. You remember our neighbor, like the one who was always in yoga pants. So you were gone, and like that's the way it feels. It's ridiculous. And then this kind of again tends to kind of feel like, and then the thing with Rocks, like I don't know what the deal was with Bram and Rocks. Like genuinely, I think ArenaNet was trying to communicate that they had like this friendship, and that it was hurtful when the friendship didn't remain as close as maybe one or the other wished it had, and people kind of grow apart. But it never feels that way. It just feels like they dated or something. Like, and not even like maturely, but like they were high schoolers dating. I don't know. It's really bizarre. Okay, Boudica, what do you think about Char and Norn dating?
I don't think the Olmacon need to worry about the inquest anymore.
Yes. Seems we're safer now. No more experiments. No more golem attacks. With Narn's death, we have a sad election ahead. But we've faced tragedy before. We'll get through it.
Alright, good to hear. So that wraps us up. I don't think Irene has any dialogue for us here. She's kind of chilling, but I don't see the little green thing above her head. Yeah, we can't interact with her. So obviously, Irene has matured a lot since, like, Path of Fire. Or, Season 3, for that matter, when she was, like, little baby Irene. Kind of looking like a mix of, like, a dragon and a kitten and a little frog touch to it. And so now she's, like, more dragon-like. The wings are much larger, tail's more pronounced, more of like the dragon profile here versus, again, a face that had kind of kitten and frog characteristics. Good for her. Growing up. It's exciting. Proud parent over here. All right. That does wrap up Chapter 2 for us. So I'm going to insert a video break here. I'm going to keep on playing. We're going to get way into Chapter 3 today because I got the time on my hands. But for video purposes, we're going to insert a break here. We have finished Chapter 2. We have successfully put an end to Joko's capability to conduct incursions into Tyria. And, as a positive byproduct, we now have Blish and Gorrik on Team Commander, as well as Saida, who kind of wasn't, now definitely is, right? So we've added to Team Commander over here, which is a good thing, and we've helped preserve Tyria, but Joko's got the Scarab Plague, which is a pestilence, not a plague. Thank you, Gorrik. And that is a real problem. So as we move into Chapter 3, we're going to need to address that, and that's where we'll pick it up next time.